Yo, what's going on, guys? My name is Alex, and this is my top 10 players going into the 2022-2023 season. You know the rules. I won't be projecting how good a player may be going into next season because they are younger. This is simply based off of last season alone. With that out of the way, I also have some honorable mentions, and that is Anthony Davis, Trae Young, Ja Morant, Damian Lillard, and Paul George. Now, I don't think there's really a conversation for any of these guys outside of Damian Lillard and Anthony Davis to make the top 10, but they are all really close to squeezing in if a player drops and they continue to get better. Anthony Davis obviously is a great two-way player, but he did have a bit of a down year. Damian Lillard was also injured with an abdominal injury last season, but he still decided to play, and he just wasn't up to par to his usual standards, so I think for that reason, they didn't make the top 10. But with that out of the way, let's get right into it, and at number 10, I have Jimmy Butler. Jimmy's one of the strangest stars in the NBA, because his regular season stats, while still great, aren't what you would expect from a player who's in the top 10. However, what puts him here is how impactful he is in the playoffs. In the playoffs, Butler's production improved. He averaged 27 points, 7 rebounds, 4 assists, and 2 steals a game while shooting 60% true shooting. On top of this, Jimmy more than likely is guarding the best player on the other team. If Jimmy Butler had made that transition 3 against the Celtics in Game 7 of the conference finals, Jimmy would be going to his second finals appearance in 3 years. Jimmy's at his peak right now, and I think he deserves to be here at number 10. At number 9, I have Jayson Tatum. After an awful first half of the season where Tatum was by far his most inefficient, he and the Celtics turned it around after that RJ Barrett buzzer beater and became one of the best teams in the league. As the best player on the Celtics, Tatum has become one of the more premier players in our league with his two-way ability and his improved playmaking throughout the entire season and into the playoffs. However, he still has much to improve on, especially his shot selection. There were times down the stretch in the playoffs where he would take a difficult shot at a really bad time and it would hurt the Celtics' chances at actually winning that game. If you could figure that out, I think you'd be able to move up on this list for sure, but for now, he's here at number 9. At number 8, I have Joel Embiid. Embiid just finished a dominant season that saw him win the scoring title through his all-time post play and ability to space out the floor. Embiid also improved as a playmaker for his team, which opened the floor a lot for him. Embiid is also one of the best defenders in the league. However, I can't put him any higher because he wasn't able to replicate his regular season performance in the playoffs. I know he was dealing with a bunch of nagging injuries, but he still decided to play, and his scoring averages dropped down to 23. If Embiid had performed just a little bit better, he would have been able to make it to his first conference finals appearance, but due to some shortcomings, that just hasn't happened yet. The 76ers had a great offseason, and as long as Embiid is healthy, they should be able to make the conference finals and potentially the finals. At number 7, I have Kevin Durant. Now this is probably my most controversial rank on this list, so I want to explain why KD is lower than where I probably assume most of you have him. Although his performance against the Boston Celtics was pathetic, I'm not going to overreact and put him under Tatum just because he lost to his team. Durant has been one of the best players in the league for a decade now, and he still is. However, his performance did affect my perception of him throughout the entire league, which is why I see him here at number 7. Going against an elite Celtics team, I didn't expect Kevin Durant to be dominant, but I did expect him to come and make the series competitive. Not only was the series not competitive because it ended in the Nets getting swept, but a big part of that has to do with KD not performing at his normal highs. He did average 26 points with 6 rebounds and assists, but his efficiency was disgusting. In the regular season, KD had 63% true shooting, but in the playoffs, it went all the way down to 52% true shooting. The Nets dealt with a lot of inconsistencies throughout the season, and I feel this was a big part to their overall downfall, but KD has to play better in these situations because outside of his scoring ability, he does not bring anything else of elite value like defense or playmaking compared to others above him. At number 6, I have Kawhi Leonard. I know Kawhi didn't play last season, but even coming back from an ACL injury, I think Kawhi will be able to do what he did the season prior he got injured. Kawhi is one of the best volume scorers in our league, and although he isn't as elite defensively as he was before, he is still very good. What makes him special in my eyes is how he continues to perform in the playoffs. In the postseason before he tore his ACL, Kawhi was having one of the best postseasons of all time, averaging 30 points, 7 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 steals, on 57% from the field as a forward, 39% from 3, and 88% from the line. It may take a while for Kawhi to get back into the swing of things, but I expect Kawhi to continue to perform like this in the postseason since he's been doing it ever since he's hit his prime, and I expect him to come back from this injury because he's done it before as well. At number 5, I have Luka Doncic. Luka in just 4 seasons has become a top 5 player, and that is honestly insane to think about, especially since people weren't too high on him coming into the draft compared to his peers. He has been able to become a top player not only with his ability to get buckets off the dribble and in the post, but also by being one of the best passers in the league. Luka last season was able to exceed all expectations not only in the beginning of the season, but also going into the playoffs by willing his team all the way to the conference finals. People were very split on the Jazz and Mavericks series, and many people saw the Suns playing the Warriors in the conference finals and not the Mavericks. Luka and the Mavs didn't get the respect going into the playoffs, but Luka's performance in the postseason, where he averaged 32 points, 10 rebounds, and 6 assists per game, he was able to overcome a lot of adversity this season, and he deserves to be in the top 5 in my opinion. At number 4, I have LeBron James. It's crazy to think that LeBron at this point of his career is still able to be a top 5 player in the league, but after averaging 30 points, 8 rebounds, and 6 assists per game on 52% from the field, he is more than deserving to be here. The Lakers were an absolute mess this season with AD being in and out of the lineup, Westbrook not being a good fit, and just overall bad roster construction. LeBron had one of his best offensive seasons in his career, but the lack of defense effort in my opinion can't put him any higher. At number 3, I have Stephen Curry. There's not much to say about the reigning finals MVP. He may not fill up the stat sheet like a Luka or a LeBron, but he's just as impactful, if not more impactful, towards winning games, shown with Steph leading the Warriors over the Mavs to make it to the finals and eventually winning it all. There were a lot of doubts from people about if Curry would be able to lead the Warriors back to the finals, since the team had looked a lot different compared to the KD Warriors and even the squad he had back in 2016. But Curry showed everyone that he was still able to lead a team as one of the best offensive players in the league, and I think he's very deserving to be in this top 3, and I think you could make an argument that he could be number 2. But for me, at number 2, I have Nikola Jokic. Jokic to me is on a very similar level of defensive ability as Curry, but what puts him over Curry is just how great he was as an offensive player this season. After an MVP season, Jokic was able to improve in almost every aspect, and without his second and third best players all season, Jokic was able to bring the Nuggets to the 6th seed and secure his second MVP award. Although the Nuggets lost in 5 against the Golden State Warriors in the first round, Jokic elevated his MVP performance where he averaged 31 points, 13 rebounds, and 6 assists per game on 64% true shooting and 57% from the field. I won't be putting Curry over Jokic just because he beat him in the playoffs, similar to the KD and Tatum situation, and that is mainly because this ignores all context of that series. Although Curry did have a fantastic season, it was an overall down year. If Curry had replicated his previous seasons, I believe he would have been over Jokic, but that didn't happen, so Jokic is above Curry for me. And at number 1, for my top 10 players in the NBA right now, I have Giannis Antetokounmpo. Giannis, in my opinion, is undoubtedly the best player in the league. He's one of the best defenders in the league, being able to virtually guard every position, protect the paint, and be an elite help and weak side defender. In addition, Giannis is one of the best scorers in the league without having a consistent outside jumper or free throw shot, although both have improved since he's come into the league. He was able to average 30 points in the regular season, and in the playoffs, those numbers increased. However, his efficiency did drop, but this is mainly due to him playing the Celtics, who had the best defense in the league. Despite that, he still took the Celtics to 7 games in the second round without his second best player Chris Middleton and consistent offensive help. Giannis is still peaking to me, and he won't be leaving this number 1 spot for a long time. Well, those are my top 10 players going into the next season right now. If you enjoyed, make sure to like and sub. This is my last ranking video about ranking players in the NBA for next season, so if you missed any of my previous videos, make sure to go check them out. All my links to socials will be down below in the description on the Linktree link. There you will also find my podcast, so if you're interested in my podcast, go check that out. Anyways, I'll see y'all later. Peace out.